Good afternoon, everyone. I, CHR Misha, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICI, welcome you all participants to today's webcast, The Human Advantage Emotional Intelligence Skills for Leadership in Digital Era. Today, we are fortunate enough to have the presence of our chairman, CA Jay Chhera sir, who is very dynamic, active, and having new ideas for our committee. Due to his active participation and leadership, the PSCC committee has achieved 100 webcasts and also achieved various other elaborations. So, I request CA Jai Chhera sir to give his deliberation to our participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Charmi. A very good afternoon to all of you. Uh, CA Manish Goyalji, the esteemed faculty for today, CA Charmi Shah, the moderator, Dr. Sambit Kumar Mishra ji, secretary of this very important professional skills enrichment committee, and all my dear friends. Once again, uh, welcome and very good afternoon to all of you. Friends, it's a wonderful day today. This committee took up the initiative of a series of 100 webcasts, and today it is the 100th webcast. So it is not only Sachin Tendulkar who makes a century. We all together, I along with my Vice Chairman C. Abhay Chajetji and the co-opted members as well as the special invitees and the secretary of the committee Sambit Kumarji and all the esteemed speakers Manish ji, Charmi and all. We all together made a century today. And friends, on the event of this century, we have kept a very, very relevant topic, a very important topic. At the same time, uh, we are happy to present to you a wonderful speaker who is going to speak on emotional intelligence in the contemporary times, that is a digital era. Friends, along with your domain expertise, which of course you must be excellent. As chartered accountants, there cannot be any compromise when it comes to domain expertise. If you are into auditing, you have to be the best into that. If you are into income tax, you have to be excellent in that. So there can be no compromise. But that is one aspect. The second aspect comes for which this committee has been formed, skills. Skills are very, very, very crucial. And I think the time that chartered accountants spend on domain expertise is comparatively on a very, very, very higher side than the time they spend on skill development. So maybe we are a lopsided cricket team where you are focusing much more on maybe the betting side, maybe the fielding side is not being taken care of to that extent. So with this intention, the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee was envisaged by the leadership of ICAI, and I'm fortunate to get the opportunity this year to lead this very, very important committee. Friends, along with domain expertise, as I said, it's very, very crucial to think like leaders. Vision, right? I'm not very sure how many chartered accountants must be spending good enough time with their own selves developing the vision of their organization and their personal vision and harmonize them. Because without that, what will happen? You might start with your practice, right? And after 5 years, you are nearly at the same place. After 10 years, maybe you have progressed a little. If you had planned out a vision, then maybe you could have still taken your profession to the heights. So, vision, team building, delegation. These were the topics at the beginning of the year we were discussing in the committee. And I'm so very happy that in 100 webinars, we have covered all these various aspects. How to delegate. Chartered accountants, many of them, they want to delegate. But delegation is an art. It's not dumping. How to delegate. So for that, we had webinars where our chartered accountants share experience. And the best part of this series, which Manishji, Charmi, you all will agree with me, is that these are not a series where the speakers come and straight away have cut paste from some well-known books. For that, I think our audience is very smart. They can straight away have the access to the books. We have chosen chartered accountants mostly for this series, and we wanted to see to it, kacha pakka jaisa bhi ho, original ho, one, and relevant to chartered accountant. That was our theme. See, I can take something from Dale Carnegie, I can take something from Simon Sinek. I can take something maybe from some great leader, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But what happens? That does not touch our chartered accountants the way it should be. Rather, as a chartered accountant, what I have understood in my life, what I have felt, what I have experienced, if I can even though maybe 2 points are relevant from that, but that will make a chartered accountant feel that and probably work upon that. So very happy that we could have such 100 programs on emotional intelligence as we are talking about. So I started with domain expertise to skills. Now from skills, another very important thing is right attitude. If you don't have the right, you might be having all the skills, but if your attitude is not that positive, and unfortunately, attitude is the most I think I lost the connection. I lost the connection. I am at BKC ICAI building, and it is known for losing connections on maybe internet. Now I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So anyway, I think this, let us put it this way. This is like, all the news and all these people milte break ke baad. So I also did the same thing. Break ke baad. Well, so friends, attitude. This is a word which is very misunderstood by people. And many times we talk about positive attitude, but sometimes we miss that. So that is it. And with all these things, the most important thing is emotional intelligence. Friends, we all are human beings first and then chartered accountants. And human beings predominantly are governed by emotions. Even the most intelligent people, if emotionally disturbed, do not give the right type of solutions or do not work. A very simple example of that. Do I require telling that in India, Mahabharat, Arjun, most talented guy, right? The best Dhanurdhar. So in terms of domain expertise, excellent, excellent. Manish ji, Mahabharat has been teaching all of us that specialize. Arjun was well known for his archery, not for Gada. That was given to Bhim. From that, we have to learn that specialization is required and you have to have larger firms, right? You cannot be a Dhanurdhar also, and you can be not best in spade also, and you cannot be the best in Gada also, whatever the case may be. What I'm trying to say. So, Arjun, the best one, who is excellent in domain expertise, but is disturbed. He is disturbed, right? And we are always in the Kurukshetra of life. So at that point of time, whether you want to give the reins to consciousness, that is Krishna, or you want to lose, that's a question. So here comes the importance of emotional intelligence. Arjun did not ask technical questions to Krishna that, in this archery, how many meters mere baan ja sakte hain, right? My arrow can go. He did not ask these questions, Charmi. The only issue was emotional, right? Emotional. So even the best people who are excellent in terms of skills, in terms of expertise, technical subjects, they might not succeed if emotionally that intelligence is not used for their advantage. And that's why on this particular event, when we have the 100th webinar, we already done webinars across all this, spectrum. We decided that this is the most important topic. So on this 100th day of this series, we must have this topic. And for that, we have chosen an excellent speaker, the person who speaks on this topic authoritatively. And as I said, originally. So we have Manish ji. I'm sure you all must be eager to listen to him. I thank you all for being with us in this series of 100 webinars. And I'm sure this is just a beginning. Still, many more things are going to go. Maybe if I have this year this opportunity, I'll take this committee forward. Maybe somebody else is going to be there. he'll be inspired from this series of 100, and maybe he makes a double century. Of course, a meaningful, not only in terms of quantity, in terms of quality also. So thank you all for being with us throughout this series. Thanks a lot to the pillar of this committee, Dr. Sambit Kumar Mishra ji. Very sincerely, he is the person day in, day out, from morning till evening, who works on this committee, each and every initiative in depth. And I think solely he's working on this. As council members, we are supposed to be in different committees. I have 4 committees, out of which this is one. So our time is spread over all the various activities. But Sambit ji has been so vigilant, so disciplined, and had planned out, coordinating with for 100 webinars, coordinating with speakers, coordinating with all these things. It's a very big task. Thank you, Sambit ji, for being the pillar of this. And thanks a lot to all my dear chartered accountant friends for joining today. And I hope that you will keep on joining in the days to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the qualitative vision that you hold for this committee and your elaboration to our participants. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Moving ahead to formally introduce our speaker, CA Manish Goyal, sir. He is a practicing chartered accountant and partner at AAG and Company. He has completed LLB in 2019 from Allahabad State University and qualified as chartered accountant in 2024. He possesses rich professional experience in statutory audit, GST, and has also practical exposure to commodity markets. He has been deeply committed to students' development and regularly conducts career counseling sessions. He expresses gratitude for being invited to speak on interpersonal skills and conflict management. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, and now the floor is all open for your deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Chami, for such a warm greetings. And thank you, ICAI, for giving me this wonderful opportunity for being a speaker at 100th webcast of PSEC. And I want to extend my deepest gratitude to CA Jay Chaira, sir, Chairman of PSEC, CA Aved Chajar, sir, Vice Chairman of our committee, and Dr. Sambit Mishra ji, Secretary, for joining us today here and organizing this incredible, timely, and relevant session. Your vision in creating platforms for professional skills enrichment is exactly what our profession needs in this rapidly evolving digital landscape, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this platform with all of you today. And when I was preparing for this session, I realized something funny. Here we are, a community of people who spent years mastering the art of making both sides of balance sheet match. And today we are going to talk about something that refuses to balance neatly in columns. We are going to talk about emotions, about humanity, about that messy, beautiful, unpredictable things called emotional intelligence. And I can already hear someone of you thinking, emotional intelligence, really? Like the sir said. But I survived articleship. I cracked CA finals. I can handle GST amendments on Sunday mornings. And now you are telling me to, I need to worry about feelings. But yes, absolutely yes. And here is why. The paradox we are living in. Let me paint you a picture of our current reality. Right now, as I speak to you, there are artificial intelligence systems that can prepare financial statements, maybe faster than we can open Excel. There are machine learning algorithms that can detect fraud patterns we might miss even after hours of scrutiny. There are bots that can file returns, generate invoices, reconcile accounts without taking a single chai break. And yet, here is the beautiful irony. In this age of artificial intelligence, our most valuable professional asset isn't becoming more artificial. It's becoming more human. Think about it. Maybe 10 years ago, if someone told you that your primary value as a CA wouldn't be your ability to crunch numbers, but rather in your ability to understand people, to navigate emotions, to build trust, to inspire teams, would you have ever believed them? Probably not. Most of us would have laughed and gone back to solving tax problems. But here we are in 2026, and I am here to tell you something that might surprise you. The robots aren't coming for our jobs, they are coming for our tasks. And that's the best thing that could happen to us because it's forcing us to rediscover what makes us irreplaceable, our humanity. Let me share you a personal story. About 7 years ago, I was working with a mid-sized manufacturing firm as a senior manager. I was that guy, the type, first one in the office, last one to leave, laptop open during dinner, checking emails at midnight. I was, talking encyclopedia of accounting standards. I could quote section numbers in my sleep. I was, in my own mind, absolutely indispensable. But one day, the CEO called me into his office. I walked in thinking maybe it was a promotion time, maybe a bigger role. Instead, he said something that hit me like a ton of bricks. Manish, you are brilliant with numbers, but you are terrible with people. Your team is afraid to approach you. The other departments avoid collaborating with finance because of the wall you have built. We are losing good people because of the culture in your department. And listening to that, I was devastated, shocked. How could this be? I was doing everything right, wasn't I? I was accurate, I was thorough, I was fast, but I wasn't human. I had turned myself into a calculation machine, and in doing so, I had forgotten that behind every number in those financial statements was a person. Behind every variance analysis was someone's effort. Behind every budget overrun was a team that needed guidance, not criticism. That conversation changed my career trajectory. It sent me on a journey to understand something that wasn't taught in our CA curriculum, something that wasn't in any of our institute's modules. That is emotional intelligence. Now, what exactly is emotional intelligence? Let's get clear on what we are actually talking about. Emotional intelligence, or EI, as we call it, isn't about soft or weak. No, it's not about group hugs and singing maybe any song in the boardroom. It's definitely not about setting your standards or accepting mediocrity with a smile. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while simultaneously recognizing and understanding emotions of others. It's about being smart with feelings, yours and everyone else. There's a author, Daniel Goleman. gentleman who really brought this concept into mainstreams of business thinking, which broke it down into 5 components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. And here is what is fascinating to us as CAs. Every single one of those components directly impacts our ability to lead, to advise, to add values in ways that no software ever can. Let's be honest about our profession for a moment. Our training is exceptional. The CA course is one of the toughest professional qualification in the world. We learn technical skills that are second to none. We develop analytical thinking that's razor sharp. But somewhere in those 3.5 years of articleship, somewhere between studying audit procedures and tax provisions, somewhere between attempting exams and meeting deadlines, we often learn to suppress emotions rather than understand them. Think about your articleship. How many times did you hear, "Don't be emotional about that work"? How many times were you told to toughen up? How many times did you hide your stress, your anxiety, your overwhelm behind a professional mask? We are trained to be objective, which is crucial to our work. But many of us are confused objectivity with emotional detachment. We learn to analyze financial health, but nobody taught us to check our own emotional health or that of our teams. I remember during my articleship, there was this senior who was technically brilliant. Give him any complex consolidation problem, any intricate tax scenario, he would have solved it in minutes. And but he'd make at least 3 articles cry every month. Not because he was intentionally cruel, but because he had zero emotional awareness. He didn't realize that the way he gave feedback was crushing, that his tone made people feel worthless, that his impatience made the workplace toxic. And here is the kicker. The firm celebrated him because he delivered results. But what they didn't see was the long-term cost: high turnover, knowledge loss, damaged reputation, and a culture where fear replaced excellence as the primary motivator. Now, let's talk about why EI matters more than ever in this digital era. This matters specifically in our digital era because we are living through the 4th industrial revolution. Automation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud computing, big data. These aren't future technologies anymore. They are here. They are transforming how we work. And here is what is happening. Any task that can be reduced to rule-based process will eventually be automated. Maybe it is bank reconciliation. There is a software for that. Data entry, automated. Standard of auditing procedures. Again, AI is learning to do them. Tax computations. We all have Computex. So what's left for us? What's our unique value proposition? It's the things machine can't do, at least not yet, and possibly never. Machines can't understand the anxiety in a client's voice. when they are worried about cash flow. Machines can't read body language in a board meeting and sense tension that needs addressing. Machines can't build the trust that makes a client share information they are hesitant to disclose. Machines can't inspire a demoralized finance team to push through a difficult audit season. No, these require emotional intelligence. These require human skills. And these are increasingly what we are being paid for. Talking about the self-awareness, the 5 components just I talked about. The self-awareness. No, let's dive into the first component. This is the foundation of everything else. You cannot manage what you don't recognize. Self-awareness actually means understanding your emotional triggers, recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, knowing your values, and understanding how your emotions affect your performance and your interaction with others. Here is a very serious specific example. You are in a review meeting and someone challenges your analysis. You immediately feel your blood pressure rising, your jaw tightens. You start defending aggressively rather than listening to the feedback. Why? Maybe it triggers your imposter syndrome. That voice that says you are not good enough despite clearing one of the toughest exams in the country. Maybe it reminds you of a critical principle during articleship. Or maybe you have been tired your entire self-worth to being right about technical matters. A self-aware person recognizes this reaction as it's happening. They think, okay, I am feeling defensive right now. That's my ego being triggered. Let me take a breath and actually listen to what is being said. There might be valid points here. No, listen to them. I learned this the hard way, during the CFO presentation to the board. I had prepared a detailed capex proposal. One of the directors started questioning my assumptions. I felt attacked. I got defensive. I started arguing instead of explaining. The proposal that should have been approved got tabled for further analysis. Later, my mentor pulled me aside and said, your numbers were solid, your analysis was sound, but you lost the room when you got emotional. You stopped being a trusted advisor and became an opponent they had to defeat. That obviously hurted, but it was true. I hadn't been self-aware enough to recognize my emotional state and manage it. No, here is something I want you to try for the next week, maybe. At the end of each workday, spend just 5 minutes journaling, not about what you did, but about what you felt and why. Today, during the audit planning meeting, I felt frustrated when the operations team pushed back on the timeline. Why? Because maybe I felt like they don't respect the audit process. And deeper than that, maybe because I want to be seen as someone who maintains high standards. No, this kind of reflection builds self-awareness. You start seeing patterns. You start understanding your emotional landscape. And that understanding is power. It's a great power. The second component is self-regulation. This is about managing your emotional responses rather than being controlled by them. Think of it in this way, like a thermometer reacts to a temperature. A thermostat controls it. Self-regulation is about being a thermostat. Picture this scenario, like which I'm sure many of you have lived. It's March 31st, year-end closing. Everything that could go wrong has actually gone wrong. The ERP system has crashed. 3 team members are sick. The client is demanding preliminary numbers by tomorrow morning. You have had 4 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. Oh, imagine all this. And now someone makes a silly error that's going to cost the team 3 additional hours of work. Now you have 2 choices. You can explode, or you can let your frustration, your exhaustion, your stress pour out in a verbal lashing that makes everyone feel terrible. You will feel justified. After all, it was a silly error. Or you can actually self-regulate. You can feel the anger, acknowledge it internally, take 3 deep breaths, and respond in a way that addresses the issue without destroying morale. Okay, here is what has happened. It's frustrating, but it's fixable. Here is how we are going to handle it. Let's stay focused and get through this together. Now it's up to you. Which leader would you want to work for? Which leader builds team that perform under pressure rather than crumble? I once worked with a partner, let's call him Mr. Sharma. During a busy season, he was legendary for his calm. Clients would panic, staff would stress, but Mr. Sharma was steady. Not because he didn't feel the pressure. He felt it acutely. But he had learned to regulate his response. He told me his secret once. The moment I feel overwhelmed, I excuse myself, go to the washroom, and do a 2 minutes breathing exercise. I acknowledge the stress. Yes, this is intense. Yes, I am feeling pressure, but that's normal. Then I choose my response rather than react automatically. Those 2 minutes save hours of dysfunction. That's a self-regulation in action. Here is a practical tool, which I call it stop technique. Literally pause when you feel a strong emotion rising. Take a deep breath. One deep breath creates a gap between your stimulus and response. And then observe, what am I feeling? What triggered this? And what do I actually need right now? And then only proceed. Respond consciously rather than react unconsciously. This works, whether you are dealing with a difficult client, underperforming team member, or an unexpected audit finding. It's simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. It takes practice. The third component is motivation, especially the intrinsic motivation. It's about being driven by internal values and goals rather than external rewards alone. Now, let's be real. We are CAs. We worked hard for the qualification, partly because it promised good career prospects, respect, financial security. There is nothing wrong with external motivation. We all have bills to pay and ambitions to fulfill. But here is what I have observed. The CAs who truly excel, who become influential leaders, who find fulfillment in their careers, they have all tapped into something deeper than just a paycheck or the designation. They are motivated by the mastery, the desire to continuously improve their skills. They are motivated by purpose, the feeling that their work matters beyond just the bottom line. They are motivated by autonomy, the freedom to approach problems creatively. I think about CA Radhika, colleague, who could have stayed in a comfortable industry role with great pay. Instead, she moved to a social enterprise, helping small businesses formalize their operations. Lower salary, longer hours, more challenges. But when you talk to her, she's energized. She's found meeting in using her CA skills to empower entrepreneurs who otherwise couldn't afford professional financial advice. Or CA Karthik, who still is in practice but approaches every audit not as a compliance requirement but as an opportunity to help business improve with their systems. He tells his team, we are not here to find faults. We are here to add values. That intrinsic motivation transforms the entire engagement. We actually need to find out your deeper why. Here's the question for action. Why did you really become a CA? Not the surface answers. No, a good career or family expectation. But then dig deeper. What aspects of this work actually energize you? When do you feel most alive professionally? For some, it's the puzzle solving aspect. For others, it's the advisory role, being trusted with important decisions. For some, it's the structure and order, bringing clarity to chaos. For others, it's the continuous learning, always encountering new situations. Understanding your intrinsic motivation helps you navigate career decisions. It helps you stay resilient when things get tough. It helps you lead others because your energy becomes contagious. And here is the beautiful thing about intrinsic motivation. it's sustainable. External rewards give you temporary highs, but they fade. Internal motivation is a renewable energy source. Now, we come to what I believe is the most crucial component of CAs in leadership roles: empathy. Empathy is not sympathy. No. Sympathy is feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is understanding what they are feeling from their perspective. It's cognitive and emotional. It's stepping into their shoes and seeing the world as they see it. And this is where many technically brilliant CAs struggle. We are we have trained ourselves to be objective, to focus on facts and figures. We look at business and see revenue recognition issues, working capital concerns, compliance gaps, all important, all necessary. But somewhere we forget that we are dealing with human beings who have fears, aspirations, pressures, and constraints that don't show up on financial statements. Let me give you a real life example. Early in my career, I was advising a small manufacturing company. The owner was consistently resistant to formalizing systems, despite clear presentations about the benefits. I was frustrated. Why couldn't he see the obvious advantages? Then I spent a day at the factory, just observing. I talked to him about his journey. He had built this business from nothing, worked 18 hours a day for decades. Every decision, every process bore his personal imprint. His resistance wasn't about not understanding the logic. It was about fear of losing control, anxiety about trusting others with his life's work, uncertainty about whether he'll still be needed if the business could run without his direct involvement. Once I understood this, once I had empathy, my entire approach changed. Instead of pushing systems, I positioned them as tools that would preserve his legacy. Instead of implying he was outdated, I acknowledged his expertise while gently introducing new methods. The resistance melted away. The same thing, empathy is equally crucial in team leadership. Your team member who has been making mistakes lately, before you assume they are incompetent or careless, consider maybe they are dealing with sick parent at home, maybe they are going through a divorce, maybe they are struggling with anxiety but feel they can't show weakness. I'm not saying you lower your standards or ignore performance issues. I'm saying you lead with curiosity, rather than judgment. You have a conversation that starts with, I have noticed you are not your usual self. Is everything okay? How can I support you? No, rather than immediately going into criticism mode. One of the best leaders I knew was CA Meera, CFO, who had this amazing ability to read her team. She had noticed when someone was off and she would check in, not in an intrusive way, but in a caring way. You know, her team was fiercely loyal to her, not because she was easy on them. She had very high standards, but because they knew she saw them as a whole human beings, not just resources. She once told me, our job is to build capabilities in people, not just extract productivity from them. And you can't build capabilities if you don't understand what's really going on with someone. So here is a practical framework for developing empathy through better listening. Internal listening, the three levels which I call. First is internal listening. Listen, this is where most of us operate. We are listening, but really we are thinking about what we want to say next. How this relates to how this relates to our experience, what our responses will be. We are inside our own head. And second is focused listening. Here is we are fully present with the other person. We are noticing not just words, but tone, body language, energy. We are asking clarifying questions. We are genuinely curious about their perspective. And the third is global listening. At this level, we are sensing the whole system. We are picking up on what's not being said, the undercurrents in the room, the collective mood. This is the level at which great leaders operate. We really need practice moving from level 1 to level 2 in your interaction. You will be amazed at what you start noticing. The fifth component is social skills. Your ability to manage relationships, influence others, collaborate effectively, and navigate social complexities. For us, CAs, especially those in leadership or advisory roles, this is where the rubber meets the road. You can be self-aware, emotionally regulated, highly motivated, and deeply empathic. But if you can't translate that into effective interaction, you won't achieve your fully potential. Social skills, encompasses communication, conflict resolution, collaboration, influence, and change management. Let's talk about a few of these in our context. How many times have you seen a CA present brilliant analysis that nobody acts on? How many times have you crafted a perfect report that gets ignored? Often it's not because the analysis was wrong, it's because the communication was off. We communicated to demonstrate our expertise rather than to drive understanding and actions. Effective communication in our digital era requires adapting to our audience. The board needs a different communication style than the audit committee, which needs a different style than your team, which again needs a different style than the operations department. I learned this when I moved from practice to industry in mid of my career. In practice, my audit reports were thorough, technical, comprehensive, perfect for their purpose. When I moved to a CFO role, I initially communicated the same way in management meetings. My presentations were detailed, technical, full of accounting terminology. The CEO pulled me aside, after one meeting. I need you to tell me, what decisions I need to make and why. Not walk me through every calculation. Save the technical details for when I ask for. I was trembling, but transformative. I learned to actually lead with implications and recommendations, backing them with analysis only when needed. I learned to use the stories and analogies rather than just data. I actually learned that effective communication is about the receiver, not the sender. Next, the conflict navigation, which we were talking about. The conflict is inevitable in any organization. Different departments have different priorities. Finance wants cost control, operation wants flexibility, audit wants strict controls, business wants speed. As CAs, especially in leadership roles, we often find ourselves at the center of these conflicts. How we navigate them determines our effectiveness. The emotionally intelligent approach to conflict isn't about avoiding it or winning it. It's about resolving it in a way that strengthens relationships and moves the organization forward. I remember a major conflict between the finance team and the sales team. Sales felt that finance was blocking deals with too many approval layers, while the finance felt that sales were being reckless with credit approvals. The tension was affecting the entire company. Instead of taking sides or imposing a solution, we brought both teams together. We started by acknowledging everyone's underlying interests. Sales wanted to grow revenue and not lose deals to competitors, whereas finance wanted to protect the company from bad debt. Both wanted the company to succeed. And once we established common grounds, we could work on solutions that addressed both concerns. We actually streamlined approvals for standard deals while strengthening reviews for higher risk ones. We created clearer credit guidelines that sales could use to qualify customers upfront. The key was here using empathy to understand both perspectives, communication to articulate them, and collaboration to find a win-win situation. Now, talking about the third, the professional networks. In our digital era, everyone talks about networking, LinkedIn connections, professional meetups, conferences. But how many of those connections are meaningful? Emotionally intelligent networking isn't about collecting contacts. It's about building relationships. It's about being interested not just interesting. It's about giving before you get. The most connected CAs, as I know, aren't the ones who hand out the most business cards. They are the ones who remember your challenges and send you a relevant article. They are the ones who introduce you to someone who can help you. They are the ones who check in even when they don't need anything from you. This kind of networking is powered by emotional intelligence. It requires empathy to understand what others need, social awareness to build trust, and authenticity that makes people want to reciprocate. Now, here is a interesting paradox of our digital era. We are more connected than ever before through technology, yet many people feel more isolated than ever before. Think about your work environment. How much of your communication happens through WhatsApp, email, Slack? How many meetings happen over Zoom rather than in person? How many of your team members do you primarily interact with through screens? Technology is fantastic. It's enabled global collaboration, remote work flexibility, instant communication, but it's also created new challenges for emotional intelligence. It's harder to read emotions through text. That message that seemed curt might not be have been sent that way. That email you thought was angry might have been rushed. That delayed response you know interpreted as a disinterest might have been worked out about the workload. And as leaders, our digital communications have outsized impact. That these emails you send while distracted gets analyzed and overthought by your team. That message you sent at midnight signals, perhaps unintentionally, that you expect 24/7 availability. So here are some practices for bringing emotional intelligence into digital communication. Assume the positive intent. When a digital message seems problematic, assume the best first. Clarify before reacting. Always do it. In written communication, like you lose tone and body language. Compensate by being explicit. Add emotional context. I know this timeline is tight, and I appreciate your flexibility rather than just need this by Friday. Pick up the phone. No, not everything should be text based. If something is complex, emotionally charged, or relationship critical, a call or video chat is better instead of just writing those mails or messages. And show presence in virtual meetings. Keep your camera on. Minimize multitasking. React visibly. Make virtual eye contact. Create the human connection that technology can diminish. And create informal digital space. all work, no personal interaction leads to transactional relationships. Create spaces for casual connections, even digitally. Now, let me walk you through how emotional intelligence plays across different roles we inhabit as CAs. The CA in practice, the trust builders. If you are in practice, your entire value proposition is built on trust. Client comes to you with their most sensitive financial information, their concerns, their aspirations. They are choosing you over countless, over other qualified, CAs. What makes the difference? Often it's not. Often it's not who is more technically competent. It's who makes them feel heard, understood, and confident. That's emotional intelligence. See in practice with high emotional intelligence knows how to have difficult conversations, telling a client they need to change their approach, explaining why an aggressive tax position is risky, delivering findings the client that no client doesn't want to hear. They do this with empathy and clarity, maintaining the relationship while maintaining professional standards. They also know when to go beyond the engagement scope because they sense a client needs additional guidance. They build practices not just on technical expertise, but being trusted advisors. While CA in industry, CAs are often bridge between numbers and narrative, between caution and ambition, between compliance and innovation. This role requires tremendous emotional intelligence. You need to say no to ideas that don't make financial sense, but in a way that doesn't shut down innovation. You need to push for controls, but in a way that doesn't strangle operational efficiency. You need to deliver bad news about financial performance, but in a way that mobilizes action rather than creates despair. The CFO with high emotional intelligence becomes a strategic partner to the CEO, translating business strategy into a financial implication and financial realities into strategic opportunities. They build finance teams that are respected rather than resented by other departments. And obviously the CA in leadership, as you move into senior leadership, CFO, CEO, board member, emotional intelligence becomes your primary job. You are no longer being paid primarily for your technical skills. You are at that time being paid for your judgment, your leadership, your ability to align people towards common goals. You are creating culture through every interaction. How you respond to failure sends a message about risk taking. How you treat people during crisis defines loyalty. How you communicate values determines whether they are real or just posters on walls. The emotional intelligent leader knows that their emotional state is contagious. If they are anxious and reactive, the organization becomes anxious and reactive. And if they are calm and purposeful, the organization follows suit. I think of a person, CA Amit. He was a CEO. I worked with him. During a major business crisis, sudden loss of a key client, the leadership team was panicking. In that moment, Amit didn't dismiss their concerns or pretend everything was no, it was all good, it was all fine. He acknowledged the difficulty. This is a serious challenge. I know everyone is worried. I am concerned too. Then he shifted the energy. Like, I remember he was saying, we have faced challenges before. We are strong, we are capable, and we are going to figure out this together. Let's focus on what we can control. That combination of empathy and resolve steadied the entire organization. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm convinced emotional intelligence matters, but how can it be developed? Or how are some people just naturally better at it? Great news is emotional intelligence can absolutely be developed, unlike IQ, which is relatively fixed. Emotional intelligence, EI, can improve throughout your life. The brain's neuroplasticity means you can literally rewire your emotional responses and social skills, but it requires intentional effort. Here is a development plan I have with you to share. Start with the self-assessment. Get feedback, not just technical feedback, but feedback about how you come across, how you make people feel, how your blind spots might be. Ask trusted colleagues, mentors, your teams. Use EI assessment tools like if you want something more structured. Be prepared for some difficult insights. I remember when I first got 360-degree feedback that included emotional intelligence dimensions. One comment strung, very competent, but doesn't seem interested in us as people. But that insight was gold, because I couldn't improve what I didn't know was a problem. So it was good feedback. Then create a practice plan. Choose one aspect of EI to focus on at a time. Maybe it's self-awareness. You commit to that daily 5 minutes reflection. Maybe it's empathy. You commit to having one genuine, non-working conversation with a team member each day. Or maybe it's a self-regulation. You commit to using stop technique when you feel triggered, the stop technique, which I mentioned earlier. Whatever you choose, make it specific and measurable. I will be more emotionally intelligent is too vague. Rather than I will take 3 deep breaths before responding when I feel defensive in meetings is actionable. And it's not difficult, taking 3 deep breaths, like You can do it at any time, anytime. And next is find an EI mentor or coach. Learning emotional intelligence is easier with guidance. Find someone who embodies the EI qualities you want to develop. Watch how they interact. Ask them about their approach. Request feedback on your own interactions. I was fortunate to have a mentor who would debrief meetings with me. Did you notice how you interrupted 3 times when others were speaking? Or did you catch the tension in the room when you made that comment? These real-time observations accelerated my learnings. Next, practice mindfulness. This might sound very un-CA like, but hear me out. Mindfulness, the practice of present moment awareness, is one of the most effective ways to develop emotional intelligence, particularly self-awareness and self-regulation. You don't need to become a meditation guru. Even 5 minutes a day of sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, noticing thoughts and feelings without judgments. All this builds the mental muscle of awareness. This awareness then translates into your professional life. Many senior leaders, including CAs and CFOs, have mindfulness practice. It's not woo-woo, it's neuroscience. It's literally, it literally changes your brain's response to stress. And the last, read wisely, not just technical material. If you want to understand human motivation and emotion, read beyond accounting standards and tax laws. Read psychology, read philosophy, biography, even fiction. Great novels are empathy engines. They let you inhabit other minds and perspectives. You may try this. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, this all sounds nice, but where is the ROI? We are CAs. Show me the numbers. Okay, fair question. Let me give you some data. Research by Talent Smart found that emotional intelligence is responsible for 58% of performance in all types of jobs. 90% of the top performers have high emotional intelligence. Studies of leaders show that EI is twice as important as technical skills and IQ combined for outstanding performance in leadership roles. Companies, with leaders with high emotional intelligence shows 20% higher productivity, significantly lower turnover, and better financial performance. In our specific field, research on CFOs and financial leaders shows that those rated high in emotional intelligence are significantly more likely to be seen as strategic partners to influence organizational decision making and to progress to CEO roles. But again, beyond the statistics, think about the practical ROI in your own career. The client who stays with you not because you are the cheapest, but because they trust you. The team that goes the extra mile during the busy season because they want to support you. The career opportunity that comes your way because someone enjoyed working with you. The negotiation you win because you understood the other side's motivations. The change initiative that succeeds because you brought people along rather than just pushing directives. These are the real world returns on emotional intelligence. No, they are harder to quantify than cost saving, but they are equally, if not more valuable. Let me be honest about the challenges you will face in developing and applying emotional intelligence. The time pressure. No, I don't have time for emotional stuff. I need to get work done. This is the false choice. Emotional intelligence doesn't slow you down. It speeds you up by preventing misunderstandings, reducing conflict, and building cooperation. The cultural barriers in some organizational cultures, showing emotions or talking about emotions is seen as weakness. You might face skepticism or even ridicule. Uh, my advice, lead by example. You don't need to convince everyone. Just demonstrate the results. Then old habits, you have been operating in certain ways for years. Changing patterns takes time and effort. I know you will slip back. You will have moments when you react the old way. That's okay, perfectly fine. Progress isn't perfection. It's direction. And lastly, cynicism. You will encounter cynics, who dismiss emotional intelligence as soft skills nonsense. They don't argue, just be excellent at it and let the results speak. Uh, we are coming to end our time together, and I want to leave you with a challenge. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You have invested your time in this session. You have heard about emotional intelligence and why it matters. Now, what? I want you to commit to one specific action you will take in the next week to develop or apply emotional intelligence. Just one. Make it concrete. Maybe it is I will have a conversation with my team member who has been struggling and really listen to understand what's going on, or maybe it's I will notice my emotional triggers in meetings and practice the stop technique when I feel them arising, or maybe it is I will end up my workday each day this week with 5 minutes of reflection about my emotional experiences, or maybe it is I will read one of the books I mentioned and discuss it with a colleague. Whatever it is, write it down, tell someone about it, create accountability, and then observe what happens. notice the impact. My prediction is you will find that small changes in emotional intelligence create surprising ripples in your effectiveness and satisfaction. Let me bring this full circle as we close. We live in an extraordinary time. The technology available to us as CAs today would have seemed like would have seemed like absolute science fiction just 20 years ago. When I started my career, we were excited about Tally. Today, we are working with artificial intelligence that can analyze thousands of transactions in seconds. Blockchain technology that's redefining trust and verification. Cloud system that gives us access to real-time data from anywhere in the world, and machine learning algorithms that are learning to detect patterns we might never see. It's breathtaking, it's powerful, and honestly, I can sometimes feel threatening. I have heard the anxiety in our profession. Will AI replace CAs? Is our qualification become obsolete? What's our future in this automated world? And here is what I want to tell you with absolute conviction. We are not becoming obsolete. We are becoming essential in an entirely new way. Here is a beautiful paradox, the technology paradox. The more sophisticated our technology becomes, the more valuable our human skills become. Not despite the technology, but because of it. Think about it. When routine tasks are automated, what remains is the complex, the ambiguous, the nonsense, the situations where there isn't a clear algorithm, the decisions where judgment matters more than calculation, the relationships where trust is the currency. Obviously, a bot can file a GST return, but can it counsel an entrepreneur who has built a business from scratch and is now facing their first financial major crisis? Can it navigate a board meeting where unspoken tensions are more important than the numbers on the presentation? Can it mentor a young CA who's technically brilliant but struggling with confidence? No. That requires something that no machine, no matter how intelligent, can replicate. It requires humanity. It requires emotional intelligence. We are becoming, strategic guides. Our profession is evolving from scorekeepers to strategic guides, from compliance enforcers to trust advisors, from number crunchers to value creators. And this evolution requires exactly the skills we have discussed today. When a business leader looks at their dashboard and increasingly they can assess the same data we can, they are not paying us just to explain what the numbers say. They are actually paying us to interpret what numbers mean, to understand the human and organizational implications, to guide decisions that will affect real people's life and livelihoods. That's where emotional intelligence, becomes your competitive advantage. The CAs who wins in the digital era. Let me, paint you a picture of a CA who thrives in this new era. And I'm not talking about some idealized, impossible standard. I'm talking about a real, achievable evolution of what we already are. This CA is, technically excellent. That goes without saying. They stay updated with standards, regulations, technology. They are comfortable with data analytics, familiar with automation tools, capable with digital platforms. But what sets them apart is something else entirely. They walk into a room and people feel heard. When they speak, uh, people trust them, not just because of their credentials, but because of their character. When things go wrong, people come to them, not just for solutions, but for steadiness. When teams are struggling, they don't just push harder, they understand deeper. They are the CFO who translates financial strategy into organizational motivation. They are the auditor who finds issues but preserves relationships. They are the tax consultants who advises on compliances while understanding business realities. They have mastered the technical and embraced the human. That's the combination that's unstoppable. And your unique, your unique value proposition. Every single person on this call has a unique value proposition. It's not just your CA qualification, though that is your foundation, but it's not just your technical knowledge, though that's your toolkit. It's not even just your experience, though that's your teacher. Your unique value proposition is you, your emotional intelligence, your ability to connect, your capacity to understand, your judgment, your integrity, your empathy, your resilience, your humanity. These are the things that AI cannot replicate. These are the things that automation cannot replace. These are the things that make you irreplaceable. And here is the exciting part. Unlike the technical knowledge that can become outdated, unlike the certifications that expire, unlike the technologies that get replaced, your emotional intelligence only gets better with time and practice. It's the asset that only appreciates and no depreciation. Call to courage. Developing emotional intelligence requires something that we as CAs sometimes struggle with, which is vulnerability. It requires admitting we don't have all the answers. It requires asking for feedback that might be uncomfortable. It requires acknowledging our emotions rather than suppressing them. It requires being real rather than always being right. This takes courage, but you already have this courage. You demonstrated it when you decided to become a CA. You demonstrated it when you survived articleship. You demonstrated it when you kept studying after failing attempts. And you demonstrated it when every time you took on a challenge that scared you. Now I'm asking you to take that same courage and apply it to this new frontier. The frontier of emotional intelligence, the frontier of human leadership in digital world. The ripple effect of your leadership. No, here is something powerful to consider. Your emotional intelligence doesn't just affect you; it ripples outward. When you lead with emotional intelligence, you give your team permission to be human. You create a culture where people can learn from mistakes instead of hiding them. You build an environment where innovations can flourish because failures isn't fatal. You model a leadership style that they will carry forward in their own careers. Think about the articles working under you. Think about the young CAs looking up at you. Think about the clients watching how you handle pressure, setbacks, conflicts. You are not just doing your jobs. You are shaping the future of our profession. When you combine technical excellence with emotional intelligence, you don't just succeed personally, you elevate everyone around you. You make your entire profession better. Let me be crystal clear about something. I'm not suggesting that emotional intelligence replaces technical competence. Not at all. You need both. They are not either or, they are both. And your technical skills open doors. Your emotional intelligence keeps them open and opens even bigger ones. Your technical skills get you the credibility, while your emotional intelligence gets you influence. Your technical skills gives you or helps you to identify problems. Your emotional intelligence helps you implement solutions. Think of it like the balance sheet you know so well. Technical competence is your assets, essential, valuable, quantifiable. Emotional intelligence is your equity. It's what makes those assets work for you, what gives you flexibility, what compounds your value over time. And just like in business, the real magic happens when both sides are strong and in balance. We are at an inflection point of in our profession. The old model of the CA as purely a technical expert is fading. The new model of CA as strategic advisor and leader is emerging. This transition is happening right now, and you have a choice. You can resist it, holding on to the old ways, feeling threatened by technology, retreating into pure technical work, and wondering why opportunities pass you by, or you can embrace it. You can lean into the human advantage. You can develop your emotional intelligence alongside your technical competence. You can uh, positively, you can position yourself not as someone competing with technology, but as someone who leverages technology while providing what technology never can: human insight, wisdom, connections, leadership. The, you know, from my point of view, the CAs who make the second choice, and I believe that's everyone on this call, because you are here, you are listening, you are investing in growth, you are the future leaders of our profession. What the world needs from us CAs now, our world right now is facing unprecedented complexity. Businesses are navigating global uncertainty, rapid technological change, social transformation, environmental changes, and economic volatility all at once. In this environment, organizations don't just need number crunchers, they need steady hands, they need wise counselors, they need people who can hold the tension between short term pressure and long term sustainability. They need leaders who manage both the spreadsheets and the anxieties of the people looking at those spreadsheets. They need emotionally intelligent CAs. You have the opportunity, and I would argue the responsibility to be that kind of leader. Not someday, not when you reach some senior position. Right now, wherever you are in your career, because leadership isn't a position, it's a practice, and emotional intelligence is the part of that practice. And let me make this personal. When I was struggling with that feedback I shared earlier, when I was told I was brilliant with numbers but terrible with people, I could have dismissed it. I could have said, that's not my job. I'm here for technical accuracy, not to be everyone's friend. But something in me knew that was something else. I knew that I was limiting myself. I knew that I was missing something essential. So I made a commitment to develop my emotional intelligence, not to become perfect at it. I still have moments where I mess up, where I react instead of respond, where I miss emotional cues. But to make it a priority, to practice it, to grow into it, that commitment changed everything. It changed my career trajectory. It changed my relationships. It changed my impact. And most importantly, it changed my fulfillment. Work became more than just getting things done. It became about helping people grow, solving complex problems, creating value that mattered. And now I'm asking you, to make a similar commitment. Not because I am telling you to, but because I believe it will transform your career and the life the way it transformed mine. So here we are. You have given me your time and attention to this session. You have heard the case for emotional intelligence. You have seen the framework and techniques. You have considered the possibilities. Now comes the most important part. What will you actually do? I want to challenge you with something very specific. Before you close your laptop or put down your phone after this webinar, take out a piece of paper or open a note on your device. Write down your answer to these 3 questions. First, what is one emotional intelligence strength I want to build in next 30 days? Be specific, not be more empathetic, but have one meaningful conversation each week where I just listen without trying to fix or advise. Note it down, note it down. Second question, what is one situation where I will intentionally practice this skill? Maybe it's your weekly team meeting. Maybe it's your next client presentation. Maybe it's interactions with a specific colleague or family member. Anchor it in real life. And the last, who will I tell about this commitment to create accountability? Share it with a mentor, a peer, a friend. Make it real by making it known. Do this right now. No, don't wait. Don't tell yourself you will do it later, because we both know that later often becomes never. Let me leave you with a question that I think will define the next chapter of your career. Will you be a CA who happens to have technical skills, or will you be a leader who happens to be a CA? The first is about knowing things. The second is about transforming things. The first is about being competent. The second is about being influential. And the bridge between the first and the second is emotional intelligence. I have a vision for our profession. I see a future where CA doesn't just stand for chartered accountants. It stands for compassionate advisor, a courageous advocate, conscious leader. I see a future where businesses seek us not just for compliance, but for wisdom, where young people aspire to become CA not just for job security, but because they want to become the kind of leader who creates value through both their technical mastery and their human touch. I see a future where the CA community is known not just for our technical rigor, but for our emotional intelligence. intelligence, where we are celebrated not just for the audits we complete, but for the teams we build, the cultures we create, the businesses we transform, the people we develop. That, I believe that future is possible, but it requires each of us to embrace the human advantage, to develop our emotional intelligence with the same dedication we brought to learning, for accounting standards, to lead with both our hands and our hearts. In a world of artificial intelligence, your emotional intelligence is your advantage. In an era of automation, your human connection is your value. In a landscape of algorithms, your judgment is your differentiator. You are not competing with machines. You are doing what machines never can, bringing humanity to complexity, wisdom to uncertainty, and meaning to numbers. This is your calling. That is your opportunity. That is your human advantage. Don't waste it. Don't hide it. Don't diminish it. Embrace it, develop it, and lead with it. And watch how it transforms not just your career, but your entire professional life and the lives of everyone you touch. Now, for the closing our session, I just want to thank you for your time and attention and your openness today. Thank you to CA Jay Chaira sir and CA Abhay Chajar sir for creating this platform. Thank you for Dr. Sambit Mishra ji for being with us today. Thank you to ICAI and PSEC for recognizing that professional skills include not just technical competence, but emotional intelligence. To every CA on this call, you are already excellent at what you do. I'm simply inviting you to add another dimension to that excellence, to become not just technically superior, but emotionally intelligent, not just competent, but extraordinary. The digital era isn't a threat to our profession. It's an invitation to evolve into something even more valuable than we have ever been. And I believe, I know that you are already for this evolution. You are ready for this, for this evolution. Now, just go out there, show the world what an emotionally intelligent CA can do. The future of our profession is bright just because of you, because you are at its future. Thank you, and I wish you all the best in journey of growth and leadership. Thank you.
Sir, we have one question for you. The question
ma'am.
is, how will the role of emotional intelligence in leadership evolve in next 10 years? How can emotional intelligent leaders handle conflicts in high pressure digital workplaces?
Ma'am, for the emotional intelligence, like for the next coming 10 years, like I have shared with you, although the machines are there, artificial intelligence is coming, but they are not coming for our tasks. Our human advantage is the emotional intelligence that lies within us. The conflicts, the stress that the client feels in the board meeting that lies, only a human can face it. Only he can feel it, and he can advise the other person with the empathy to understand and take the decision in the right way.
Sir, one of the participants has requested you to reshare the names of the books once again.
Sure, sure. Let me. Just give me a minute now. I'll just. Yeah, those books are Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. The first recommendation. The second is the Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. And the third one is Thanks for the Feedback by Stone and Heen. And fourth, which I suggested, was Crucial Conversations by Patterson at EI.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, with this, I think all the doubts of the participants are also clear. And thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and knowledge in sharing your knowledge on emotional intelligence. Thank you, PSCC committee, and all the organizers behind this webcast to make it a grand success. Thank you, all the participants, to make this as a memorable one. Thank you, sir. CA Manish
Thank you, ma'am.
Goyal, sir, for your time, and because of you this webcast has become a memorable one. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Good day.